Once you've finished locating sources for your informational article and answered questions about 3 of your sources, then you're ready to answer the question in Moby Max. Before we move on, I just want to show you that I finished my first source in the previous video, and then I went on and did my last 2 sources. Notice that in my second source, I said that I wasn't sure if the site was reliable, and I explained why. For my third source, I couldn't figure out who created the website, so I had to write unknown. Once I've got this done, I head back to my Moby Max slide. And as a reminder, it told me to record the 3 sources that I believe will be useful for my research. So what I need to do is go back to my worksheet and write down the name of the website and the URL in Moby Max. So the first website was Alnwick Castle, and underneath that I need to put the name of the website. So I go back to my worksheet and take this same URL and I need to put it into Moby Max. And I do that for all 3 sources. So I have Percy Family History as my second source. And my third source is Famous Castles, Alnwick Castle. All right, so once I'm done with that, then I can move on to the next part of the assignment. So the Moby Max then reminds you that a correct response should include these 3 sources that you think will help you to continue researching your topic. The next thing you need to do is to actually conduct the research for your informational article. The objective of this last lesson is to conduct the research for the article. The first thing you need to do is to answer some questions about conducting research. When you get to this slide, it tells you to, on paper, take notes on the sources you've located for your topic. If necessary, use an internet search engine to conduct additional research. Within your notes, remember to indicate where information came from and to note any direct quotes. So for this part of your assignment, you're going to use this handout that says Conduct Research for an Informational Article. So you're going to start with the 3 websites that you found previously. So the first website that I found was Alnwick Castle. So I'm going to use that same website here. So this website was called Alnwick Castle. And the website URL goes here. Okay, so before I get started, I just want to remind you that it's going to ask for notes in your own words. So this means you're not just copying what the website says, you are reading it, thinking about it, and then rewriting it in your own words. And then you're adding quotes. I want you to have a maximum of 3 quotes. The reason I want you to have a maximum of 3 quotes is because most of your informational article, and most of what you write should be in your own words based on your research. You should not be including large chunks of text that somebody else wrote. That's called plagiarism, and that's just kind of a fancy word for stealing. We want to make sure that we're not stealing from other people. So before I move on to any other part of this assignment, I need to go back to the website that I was using. And I need to read some of the information. So, for example, I'm reading this text here. It says, Christine and I have received a grandmother of typical Normandy style castle of Matt and Bailey form. In the following 40 years, he and his son converted it into a mighty border fortress. They added towers and garites around its curtain walls with a strong gatehouse and bastions, and a concealed postern gate to the rear. The gateway to the keep was strengthened with the addition of two massive octagonal towers. Stone figures were added to the tops of the battlements, as was fashionable at the time, either for ornament or to confuse attackers. This was a medieval place that the first step was to copy to excess in the more fanciful mid-18th century castle restoration. So instead of writing exactly what it says here, I'm going to take small bits of this information. I'm going to go ahead and split the screen so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, so here are my notes. So Henry Percy purchased castle in 1309 and spent 40 years renovating. So one of the things that I found interesting was the information about the stone figures that were added, so I'm going to add that too. Renovations included stone figures on the tops of the battlements, either for looks or to confuse people attacking the castle. And so I'm going to spend most of my time reading information and then taking notes. Remember, you need to have at least 4 notes from every website and no more than 3 quotes. Now, as I read this particular section here, what I got out of it was that in the mid-1500s, the castle was in rough shape. I did find a quote that I want to include, and I'm going to explain why I want to include it. So the quote is from the man who surveyed the castle. And he said that the ravine tower was so rent that it was much like to fall. So the reason I'm including this quote and not any of the other quotes is because this quote actually comes from a person who has something to do with the topic I'm writing about. This person was actually there. They were a first-hand source. If you are including quotes, you want to see that you are including quotes from important people to the topic or people who are first-hand sources, people who were there. Just pulling random quotes from websites is not going to help you here. You want to make sure that these quotes have some sort of value beyond just the information that they're giving you. So once you are done recording research from your first website, then you're going to go and you're going to record research from the second website and then the third. By the time you've recorded research from the third website, you should have a pretty good idea of what holes you have in your research. You have a pretty good idea at this point of what things you still need to find information about. So at that point, I would like you to find a fourth website using the same questions, using the same format that we did the last time, and then conduct research from that fourth website, making sure that you have at least 2 notes and a maximum of 1 quote from that website. Once you're finished with this, then you can go back to Moby Max, and then it will take you to the next lesson, which we are not going to worry about right now. So for right now, you are done. Just make sure that you get all of your handouts, your brainstorm material, your locating sources, and your conducting research as handouts handed in.